Take this information and also show you a few altcoins that I feel has yet to make massive gains. So while we're taking profit on some of our successful trades, we now need to start repurposing some of those gains into these ones that haven't moved just yet. Do your hodl bags a favor and subscribe today. Double down, hit that like and notification icon, and let's get charting. First one I want to share with you guys is REN. Now, why REN? Well, purely look at the technicals. Oops, I've got the wrong button here. Let's quickly see where we're at. We've got to look at the technicals. This thing's been trending down. This has been an undesirable. So what's going to happen the next time around when the undesirable sees some money? Low market participants means that this thing's going to shoot up quite high. We can also, on a fractal basis, look at this chart and say, okay, right, what about others that look like this? Just not so long ago. The biggest one that comes to mind is Uni. Look at what Uni did. Okay, there's a lot of them. When we were looking at Uni, I was complaining. This was our first buy, second buy, all these buys. I talked to you guys through YouTube and I said, that's it. And that's just Uni to name a few of the other ones. So here we are. Here's another one. It's a new one. So we need to take some of our profit that we made on the others and say, okay, right, REN, it's your time to move. Okay. So what do? We've now got a weekly that closed outside the trend. And we've got another weekly that in 2 days will have opened and closed outside the trend. So where is this thing going to go to? TP1 is going to be somewhere there. So we're going to want to try and enter this one on support. So where's going to be support? It's going to be anything between 6 cents and 7 cents. That's where you're going to want to try and enter this thing, because there has to be some sort of a meaningful pullback. And from that point onwards, we're going to hold this like we did the others. Let me just get the right tool. For at least 118%. Doubles your money. How does it get easier than that? Ape. Ape was a big thing in the previous bull cycle, guys. And as we're going on to lows, look at how the volume is picking up. There's some serious accumulation happening within this area. This was support, was lost. Now it's reclaimed. 2 days from now, that weekly would have opened. There's no real divergence on the volume. Look at that RSI. It's moving into the bullish side of things. So I'm really liking Ape. Ape is early. Ape going to do well. Okay. We're going to go to there. Let's have a look at this. I'm going to measure this one out for you guys. 500%. Come on. Who wants a 5x? Okay. Meme. Stanku, I think is his name. There you go. Stanku, you're the meme craze. Every time I hear you and every time I see a comment from you, it's meme. Can you chart meme, please? Can you chart meme, please? So today you've got a different one. Yes, me. But here's meme. Now, we missed the buy zone by cents. This is kind of harsh how trading can be. Okay, so I wanted it to hit the yellow line. Didn't quite get there. But let's take that, the fact that I missed that initial buy zone out, and scale the time up and say, okay, right, meme is so early, right? Where do we think meme's going to go? Still there. And how do we get into meme without wrecking ourselves? Because one thing buying blindly, it's another thing waiting for a real good opportunity where your back's against the wall. So if it fails, you know, and you can get out with as little as possible loss. So the time frame that I'm going to be using for that is going to be the 4 hour because of this. Now, I don't trade the 4 hour normally or hodl on the 4 hour because it's more of a trading time frame as a swing trading time frame as this. But due to the fact that there's so little info on this, that makes me believe that this is a really good time frame. I'm going to switch over to the line tool. Why? The line tool takes away the noise. So if you look at the way price is moving, you can see that around that point, there was significant support and resistance level. So I'm going to mark that out as significant, and I'm going to just delete that red line. If I go through this area, you can see that around this area, there was a lot of negotiating again. So there's a significant support and resistance level. And what are we doing now? We're trying to claim that support and resistance level. So if that is the case, when do you want to buy? When it is as close to as where it needs to be for support. Now, yes, we're on the line. It's neither here nor there. So what do we need to wait for? We will potentially do what? We will potentially fill in this area. So we could potentially go to about 3 cents. And that's at that stage where the spot buy for me is going to happen for this. So I'm waiting for the shakeout. I'm waiting for a wick into that zone. I'm going to mark that on so that it sits nicely there on the right area. And then I'm going to be holding this one all the way to there, minimum, double my money again, and then TP2 there. And that one is another 230%. Nice one. Okay. Then I was looking at Loop. Same thing. Guys, this thing's been selling off like crazy. I'm not too happy about the divergence just yet. But you need to look at this now. This is daily time frame. The idea was for it to move into this area, break out and go. And now what it's doing is it is still a little weak. Let's take that away. I don't want to delete that. I just want to take it away. So it's still a little weak. So I'm not going to ape into this one, but you need to have this on your radar. So if I scale this up another time frame, what do we have? I'm going to do this. Okay, what do we have? There's a clear pivot low. Okay, we've got price trading below that pivot low. And just excuse me for 1 sec. My sneeze got stage fright. So what do we have there? We're at the bottom of a trend, and we've got strong bullish divergence. So what do we need to do? All that we need to do is we need to wait for price to start trading above that level. So weekly, open and close above that level. And then this is a buy. Where does this thing going to go? That's my TP1. Still going to be 130%. TP2, 270%. And then I'm going to look for greener pastures. There's going to be new ones coming our way. That's going to make even more money. Now we want to work with this because the real alt season has yet to start, guys. Remember the way that alt season works. Bitcoin moves, then the big ones. And then as people are making more money, they're going to move into any shit thing that launches that makes money. And that's when the neighbor calls you and says, I heard you bought Bitcoin some time ago. Quickly help me get into this. Once you get that call, you know it's time to sell. Okay. I think that's about that for the alts. Let's quickly go through your comments again. You think, well, yes, true. So that brings me right back to this comment here where I said to you guys, look at the week, look at the monthly. I mean, those neighbors are going to want to buy. So if an overlap happens, they're going to feel like, hey, this guy just told me it's okay to buy, and your neighbor is not going to invite you for the barbecue again at this stage if this happens. And that's why I think that the market is due for a little bit of a correction, just a little bit of hurt, and then we can go on again. So crypto EMC, the reason I went for this is it speaks to the emotional market cycle, EMC. And the reality is that within this hope, optimism, belief, thrill, and euphoria phase, we get taught bad habits. Price will rally. There will be significant buy the dip pullback moments. And it's through the first one you learn to maybe sell because you're still protective of your capital. And then as we get through this, you see, but I can just hold through these dips. I'll be okay. And that's what happens at euphoria, when nobody believes that selling is the right thing to do. And it sells off because there's no more new buyers. And at that stage, this happens, complacency, anxiety, because now this dip isn't holding anymore. It's the dip that keeps on dipping. And that's what brings in the bear market cycle. Now, if you take a carbon copy of this picture and you start overlaying this over any BTC cycle, you can see that guess what? It looks exactly the same. I can actually use this chart as an example. Let's get the right chart. I'm just gonna go through them one by one, because if I click around, I tend to forget about it. So we can use this chart as an example. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to switch on the emotions. So what happens? Belief, hope, optimism. And then what happens? It sells off. Euphoria. And then complacency, anxiety, dire, panic, anger. It does it at the same time. Every time. So it goes through all those same emotions. And it's those emotions that trap people. It's those emotions that gets them into trouble. So we just want to avoid those emotions, guys. Okay. Right. One more coin, don't you guys think? Keep hustling.
Subscribe now.